Apparently Nicolas Cage doesn't even say a single word in the whole movie. Like, how are you going to have Nicolas Cage and not have him deliver some off-the-wall dialogue in this Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff movie? Hi guys, Geeter64 here, and today we're going to be talking about physical media once again. This is my third video of this type. What is this video? This video is looking at Blu-ray releases, 4K releases for the month of April 2021. I'm not going to lie, guys, it's kind of slim pickings this month. However, next month, May, does have some really cool stuff, but in order to be consistent, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what is coming out in the month of April. All right, first thing up is probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most, which is Spaceballs on 4K. I already own Spaceballs on Blu-ray, so I'm not really sure if it necessarily needs an upgrade. However, if you don't own Spaceballs, a 4K release is a good excuse to own, Spaceballs. This is Mel Brooks at his best. Well, maybe his second best. I'd be lying if I said that Spaceballs was my favorite Mel Brooks movie. I would have to go with Robin Hood, Men in Tights. I really like that one. That's the definitive Robin Hood, Men in Tights. But Spaceballs is great. Obviously, I grew up a Star Wars kid. But two of my favorite things were X-Men and Star Wars. So obviously, Star Wars. Being a Star Wars fan now is pretty rough. It's pretty rough to be a Star Wars fan because Disney Star Wars is not George Lucas Star Wars. However, Spaceballs, yeah, I mean, it's a parody of like the movies that I loved. And when I was first told about this by a kid in class, I thought he was joking. I mean, if somebody explained to you Spaceballs, imagine you don't have the internet, because the internet was not very mainstream at that time. Nobody I knew had a computer. I guess that kind of dates me, doesn't it? But imagine a kid in school coming up to you and saying, hey, there's this movie, Spaceballs, and they describe it, and you're like, you got a guy named Yogurt, and instead of Han Solo, you got this guy named Lone Star, and C-3PO is a chick, and you're like, what? It doesn't sound like a real movie at all. But yeah, it was a real movie. My buddy loaned me the VHS, and I watched it, and I was like, this is hilarious, mainly because, again, I was a big Star Wars fan, so I would eat up anything Star Wars related. And at that time, there wasn't much out for Star Wars fans. There was a lot of really cool books. The expanded universe stuff, Shadows of the Empire came out around that time. So obviously, I had the N64 game and the novel and the comic book. But most Star Wars fans, it was kind of slim picking. So it was fun to discover Spaceballs at that time. So sorry, a big delineation from talking about physical media to have this dumb story about Spaceballs. But considering how slim picking the month of April is, I mean, at least you get to get a cool story out of it. But Spaceballs on 4K, obviously, if you don't own Spaceballs, I would recommend checking it out. I obviously don't know how the picture is going to be, but I don't know if you really need great picture in order to enjoy Spaceballs. The other movie coming out April 13th is Finding Forrester, which stars Sean Connery. Sean Connery. That's not what your mother said last night, Rebecca. But yeah, seriously, Finding Forrester is a pretty good movie. Not too many people remember it. It basically had a plot of this youth trying to find Sean Connery, who's a writer, and it was a really cool movie, especially as someone who, I've always been an aspiring writer. I'm in process of writing multiple novels over the course of the last 15 years. They're in various stages of development. So, if you're a writer, you know what it's like. You got that bug and you got to write down something. You're a creator of a whole world. So I identify with this movie on that level, that it actually has to do with writers. So Finding Forrester, if you've never seen it, I would check it out. And maybe on a streaming service if you don't feel like buying it. I don't know if it's necessarily a movie that you're going to rewatch multiple times. I identify with it because of the writing aspect, but it's definitely one I would recommend. So if you can find it on one of the streaming services, I would recommend checking it out at least. The other movie coming out is Willys Wonderland. A lot of people reviewed this last month. Was it last month? I don't know. I'm losing track of the months, guys. Everything's running together. But Willys Wonderland is that Nicolas Cage Five Nights at Freddy's movie that a lot of people had some mixed reactions on it. But you know, what's really strange is, because I did check out a couple of the reviews, because I honestly didn't really care about spoilers for this kind of thing. Thankfully, none of the reviews I watched had spoilers in it. But apparently Nicolas Cage doesn't even say a single word in the whole movie. Like, how are you going to have Nicolas Cage and not have him deliver some off-the-wall dialogue in this Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff movie? I don't know. Kind of crazy, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I probably won't buy this, to be honest. But it has me interested. If it pops up on a streaming service, I would definitely check it out. But if any of you guys, ended up seeing, Willys Wonderland or, Five Nights at Freddy's, which is essentially what it is, let me know, because I'm curious to hear more opinions on this movie. All right, we're going to get into April 27th, but before that, I do just want to say Dr. Pepper, Cherry Dr. Pepper, this is my jam. This is the way to go. A lot of people make fun of me for drinking Cherry Dr. Pepper because they say, Dr. Pepper's already cherry. Why do you need Cherry Dr. Pepper? It's just double cherry. I was like, no, Dr. Pepper says 23 flavors on it, right? I think it says 20. Doesn't Dr. Pepper say 23 flavors on it? It doesn't say it on this because this is the cherry. But I'm pretty sure Dr. Pepper says 23 flavors, and it never says what those flavors are. Probably one of them is cherry, but I don't know. Anyway. April 27th. This is the last Tuesday of the month. April 27th, we've got Dirty Dancing, the Best Buy Steelbook. Somebody forced me to watch Dirty Dancing a couple years ago, and honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, it's not really my type of movie, so I never watched it. I never cared to watch it. But like I said, somebody was like basically forced me to watch it, essentially, and I was like, fine, I'll give it a chance. I'll watch it. It's not bad. The Steelbook looks pretty cool too. So, if you are a Dirty Dancing fan, I would recommend the Steelbook. I think it's the 4K. I think it's a 4K release. So, also, if you are a fan of Dirty Dancing, I would recommend on Netflix, the Movies That Made Us. They have one of the episodes on Dirty Dancing, and it's actually really interesting. So I would recommend you check that out on Netflix if you have Netflix. It's certainly worth it. If you've never seen any of the episodes of Movies That Made Us, I would recommend it. They have ones with Ghostbusters and Home Alone and stuff. That's actually really cool and gives you some real cool behind the scenes stuff. So I know I'm mostly an advocate for physical media, but some things are exclusive to streaming, and if that's the only way I can watch it, oh well. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is getting a 4K release. I probably won't buy this, mainly because I got a Clint Eastwood collection back there that has The Good, the Bad, the Ugly on Blu-ray, so I probably won't upgrade to the 4K. But obviously, if you're a fan of Westerns, this is like one of the quintessential Westerns ever made. And I'm pretty sure the conversion's going to look pretty good. I'm pretty sure. But either way, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is coming out on 4K. Donnie Darko. Yeah, that weird movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. The weird movie with Jake Gyllenhaal that's not Nightcrawler. Donnie Darko. This movie's a trip. I literally was talking to somebody about this, and they were like, oh yeah, that I know exactly what the movie's about, and I understood what it was when I first saw this, and I feel like they're lying. I feel like there's no way you're gonna watch this movie the first time and understand everything that's happening. I feel like there's people who watch this movie multiple times and still don't really get what's happening in this movie. But this is actually an Arrow release, which means that it's going to be a quality release. One thing you can count on is if it's a Criterion release or an Arrow release, the picture quality is going to be pretty good. So if you are a fan of Donnie Darko, the Arrow 4K release is coming out this month. And finally, you've got Django. Now, this is not Django Unchained. This is the 1966 original Django movie, the original Western. I've never seen it. I did know it existed because I knew when Django Unchained came out, I remembered hearing about another movie called Django. So, it's like, okay, well, I love Django Unchained. I think Django Unchained is one of Tarantino's best. It's one of my favorites. I'd say it's probably my second favorite Tarantino movie behind Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know a lot of people like some of his older stuff like Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill and whatnot. And I like those movies too, but I don't know. I guess I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love that movie, but I also love Django Unchained. Just great acting all around. It's a little bit too long, I think. The only thing I would say about it. But if you're wondering why I'm talking about Django Unchained, it's because I've never seen the original Django, so I don't really have much to say about it. I would like to check it out, but I probably won't buy it because, again, I don't think it's the type of movie I'm going to watch multiple times. That's one thing I've tried to segue with physical media, is if I know I'm probably only going to watch it once, unless I can get a Black Friday or a $5 deal, I'm probably not going to buy it because it's just not really worth it to me personally. If I own a movie, it's going to be something that I know I'm going to watch multiple times so I can get my money's worth out of the movie that I'm buying. And that's kind of it. I mean, there were some other things that I saw that maybe were kind of worth talking about, but they were like older movies, like from the 70s, like there's Grizzly and just these weird off the wall movies. And I was just like, I don't think anybody cares about these. I don't really have anything to say about them. And honestly, like I said, this is like one of the most dead months for releasing movies. I don't know if every April's like this because I've never really paid attention to it month to month that often. But it could be because we're getting the trickle down effect of movies not being in theaters. You're not getting those major releases, and it could be all kinds of reasons as to why it is. But either way, it is what it is, and we aren't really getting that many movies coming out. So this is this is April. This is April, guys. As I said, I've already looked ahead to May, and while they'll probably will drop some additional ones when May comes around, already looking at it, I think May is going to be a pretty good month for physical media releases. So I'll see you at the end of April to talk about those May releases, and I'll be doing another collection video. I don't know what section I'm going to do yet, but I'm going to pick one of the sections and do another collection video. And I just want to thank subscribers. You guys are awesome. Thank you to everyone who checked out this video. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm D264, and I'll always tell you the truth.